Imagine boarding a plane for what should be a routine flight, only to land in a world where 5 years have passed. It sounds impossible, but one mysterious story has fascinated millions for decades. Families hugged their loved ones goodbye, expecting to reunite in just a few hours. No one imagined this would be the last time they would see each other for years. The airport buzzed with excitement. Travelers rushed through security, children laughed, and the departure board displayed one ordinary flight number, Flight 914. Passengers boarded the aircraft, greeted by smiling flight attendants. Everyone settled into their seats, completely unaware that history was about to take a mysterious turn. Inside the cabin, some passengers read newspapers, others chatted with family, while children eagerly looked out the windows as the engines came to life. In the cockpit, the captain completed the final safety checks. Weather conditions looked favorable, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The engines roared. Flight 914 raced down the runway and lifted smoothly into the bright morning sky. The journey had begun. For the next several minutes, everything was peaceful. The aircraft cruised high above the clouds while passengers relaxed, believing they would arrive exactly on schedule. Then the captain noticed something unusual. A massive wall of dark storm clouds stretching across the horizon. He contacted air traffic control before changing course. The aircraft entered the storm. Lightning flashed around the wings. Turbulence shook the cabin, and suddenly, radio communication became silent. Air traffic controllers repeatedly called Flight 914, but there was no answer. Seconds later, the aircraft disappeared completely from the radar screen. Emergency teams were deployed immediately. Helicopters, ships, and search aircraft searched day and night, hoping to find even the smallest clue. Days became weeks, weeks became months, yet not a single piece of wreckage was ever discovered. It was as if the aircraft had vanished into thin air. Back home, families refused to give up hope. They waited beside telephones, watched every news report, and prayed for a miracle that never came. Eventually, memorial services were held. Candles were lit, tears were shed, and Flight 914 became one of aviation's greatest mysteries. 5 long years passed. The world moved forward. Technology changed. Cities grew. But the mystery of Flight 914 remained unsolved. Then, one ordinary afternoon, an unidentified aircraft suddenly appeared on airport radar. Controllers couldn't believe what they were seeing. As the plane emerged from the clouds, the flight number became visible. It was Flight 914, the very aircraft that had disappeared 5 years earlier. The airplane landed safely. Emergency crews surrounded the runway, expecting chaos. Instead, everything seemed strangely normal. The cabin door slowly opened. Passengers stepped outside carrying their luggage, smiling as if they had just completed an ordinary flight. None of the passengers had aged. They believed only a few hours had passed since takeoff. They had no idea 5 years had gone by. One passenger picked up a newspaper. The date printed on the front page made his heart stop. Somehow, they had arrived 5 years into the future. Outside the airport, everything looked different. New technology, unfamiliar cars, and a completely changed world surrounded them. One father searched desperately for his little daughter. Instead, a grown woman ran toward him in tears, whispering only one word, "Dad." Another passenger discovered that his wife had rebuilt her life after believing he was dead. Some reunions were joyful, while others ended in heartbreak. Doctors examined every passenger, searching for answers. Strangely, their bodies showed no signs that 5 years had passed. Engineers inspected the aircraft from nose to tail. The engines, fuel, and instruments appeared perfectly normal, Nothing explained the mystery. Scientists proposed incredible theories: time warps, wormholes, magnetic storms, even unknown dimensions. But none could prove exactly what had happened. News of the mysterious flight spread across the world. Television stations, newspapers, and experts all debated the impossible story. Years later, Flight 914 remained one of the most talked-about aviation mysteries ever told, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and discussions. But was it really a case of time travel, or simply a story that grew into one of the world's greatest urban legends? To this day, there is no verified evidence that Flight 914 actually disappeared and returned years later. Yet its legend continues to remind us that some mysteries refuse to fade, and sometimes the unknown is more fascinating than the truth.